a written value proposition or concept that succinctly summarizes the value of my idea on paper, so I can test it with customers, see how attractive it is before we go to the more time-consuming and expensive process of prototyping something, designing something and developing something. And the answer is there is a standard template which is used throughout multiple industries for creating such a written concept on paper, and it always consists of the same core elements. The first one of those is a definition of the target. By segmenting the target into more specific, focused people based on their attitudes or based on their beliefs or based on their behavior or based on their location, gender, age, we can start to narrow down who it is we're talking about. And that's the essential first step of creating a value proposition. And if we're in business to business, there may be multiple people in that value chain that we need to consider. The next part of any good concept or value proposition is a definition of what problem we intend to solve, which we are going to call the insight. And the insight relates directly to the target. It will be the target's biggest unmet need. And they will have many, many problems, unmet needs, but we are focused on the one that is most significant to them, because in solving that escalates the value of our proposition. Now the next thing, our third element, is to understand what alternatives already exist in the market for the customer to resolve that problem. Who directly or indirectly already delivers against that problem, and why they fail to adequately solve it. Because of course, if the alternatives are solving the problem perfectly well already, then the size of the opportunity is limited for us. The fourth aspect of our value proposition will then be our promise, what we call the benefit. And we don't really get to control the benefit. The benefit is a function of the insight. If the customer says to us, do you know what my biggest problem is? This is my biggest problem. Then the benefit we offer can't be anything else. It has to be a commitment to solve that problem, nothing else. We can't have multiple benefits. We only have to have one benefit to solve the big unmet need of the customer, the insight. But of course, the customer will then say, well, hang on a minute. I don't believe that you can promise that. I don't believe you can deliver that. I don't believe you can make my biggest problem go away. Give me a reason to believe that you can. So the fifth element of a good value proposition is what we call the reason to believe. The proof that we can make the benefit come to life and deliver the promise to solve the insight, despite the fact all those alternatives have failed to do so in the past. And then ultimately, most good value propositions end on a point of superiority. Some people call it a discriminator, a differentiator, a USP, a unique selling point. Ultimately, what we want to be able to say is, in this value proposition that we're offering you, we can deliver the benefit to a high degree of uniqueness and superiority over everything else that exists in the market. Hence, you should come to us. Now, I haven't created anything unique here. This is something that exists inside the biggest marketing organizations. They may call it something different. At Unilever, they call it the brand key. At Philips, they call it the value proposition house. It doesn't really matter what you call it. They all contain those 6 core elements. And when they're presented to the customer in the form of a written concept, they make the story believable and compelling. And over many, many years, that format has been proven to test well.